Norwegian scientists unintentionally provide fuel for a fringe theory on the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is still a mystery scientists are trying to explain. Now there's new theories coming from Norwegian scientists who unintentionally linked giant craters of the Barents Sea to this Bermuda Triangle phenomena. They say the craters in the Barents Sea have been created by exploding natural gas, which some say has the possibility of being dangerous for ships. The international media run rampant with the idea and connected it to a fringe theory explaining the odd occurrences in the Bermuda Triangle in the Caribbean. This is according to National Geographic researchers of the Arctic University of Norway. They were studying the craters and found that they're up to a half a mile wide. That's 150 feet, 45 meters deep, and 0.8 kilometers wide. That's huge. And they believe that these craters, these holes, mysterious silo-type holes, were caused by explosive release of methane, also known as natural gas, that was trapped in the sediment below. These holes looked like the huge craters in Siberia, in Russia. And they looked as if they were chiseled by some advanced technology. They were so clean. Anyway, this methane is normally solid under pressure of the sea, but it's known that chunks of this methane can break off and form gas bubbles, and with logic, the laws of physics, they rise to the surface. Gas rises up. Thus, the current work may provide a credible scientific explanation for reports from sailors of water starting to bubble and foam with no apparent cause. Norwegian scientists from the Center for Arctic Gas Hydrate Environment and Climate, CAGE, an acronym, have not suggested that these craters are related to the Bermuda Triangle. Others have taken the idea and run with it. They say that multiple giant craters have been discovered on the ocean floor of the Barents Sea. Contrary to recent media reports, they are not connected to theories about the Bermuda Triangle, but they are connected to huge blowouts of methane gas in the area during the last deglaciation period. Professor Karen Andersian at CAGE said, "We have discovered many large craters on the seabed in the central Barents Sea. Analysis suggests that blowout of methane gas once the ice retreated after the last ice age formed these craters. We have yet to publish these results, so these are preliminary. What I can say is that we are not making any links to the Bermuda Triangle. Although there's a lot of controversy by what's being presented in the media, the Norwegian scientists have actually been studying seismic data of these giant craters in the Barents Sea. Multiple giant craters exist on the seafloor in an area in the west central Barents Sea, a probable cause of enormous blowouts of gas, say the researchers." And they add, the crater area is likely to represent one of the largest hotspots for shallow marine methane release in the Arctic, and is connected with methane gas release in the water that has set off a frenzy for people interested in the mysterious occurrences of the Bermuda Triangle and ship disappearances around the world. Back to 2004, David May and Joseph Monaghan suggested that the methane bubbles could sink ships, depending on the location of the ship, to the gas bubble, and they wrote in their article, American Journal of Physics, quote, "Whether or not the ship will sink depends on its position relative to the bubble. If it is far enough for the bubble, it's safe. From the bubble, it's safe. If it's exactly above the bubble, it also is safe because at a stagnation point of the flow, the boat is not carried into the trough. The danger position is between the bubble's stagnation point and the edge of the mound where the trough formed." So the researchers were interested in how their hypothesis could explain a sunken vessel found near the site known as the Witch's Hole in the North Sea between Britain and continental Europe. In a publication, Strange But True, regarding the disappearance of aircraft, National Geographic reported in their October publication that methane can escape into the air, making the atmosphere highly turbulent and perhaps causing even aircraft to crash. It's also important to note that the proven case of gas bubbles rising to the surface and sinking an unfavorably positioned ship has never been recorded at all, as Atlas Obscura reports. However, the notion that a sudden release of the gas potentially endangering ships or even bringing down aircraft is not new. May and Monaghan, the Russian scientist Igor Yeltsov, and some others have also toyed with the idea for the past few decades. Even though cage scientists are not proposing a connection, others have directly referenced the role of gas hydrates and the disappearance of the Bermuda Triangle. Yeltsov, who is the deputy head of the Trofimov Institute, reported last year, quote, "There is a version that the Bermuda Triangle is a consequence of gas hydrates reactions. They start to actively decompose with methane ice turning into gas. This happens in an avalanche-like way, like a nuclear reaction, producing high amounts of gas. That makes the ocean heat up and sink ships in its waters mixed with a huge proportion of gas." In addition to that, Benjamin Prampus, an earth scientist at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, in 2014 explained that gas hydrate is known to exist along the US North Atlantic continental margin, with a very large province on Lake Ridge north of Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is the area of ocean bordered by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. It covers some 500,000 square miles of ocean. This legendary location became notorious as a site of unexplained disappearances of ships as well as aircraft since it was named in 1964 in a story by Vincent Gaddis in the American magazine Argosy. But Gaddis was not the first to report strange happenings and disappearances in this area. George X. Sands wrote about an unusually large number of strange accidents in that region in Fate magazine in 1952. Many years before him, history says that other websites, famous explorers Christopher Columbus, also noted odd happenings as he sailed through the region, and he wrote, "When Christopher Columbus sailed through the area on his first voyage to the New World, he reported that a great flame of fire, probably a meteor, crashed into the sea one night and that a strange light appeared in the distance a few weeks later." He also wrote about erratic compass readings, perhaps because at that time a sliver of Bermuda Triangle was one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north lined up. Numerous unexplained disappearances also are linked to the Bermuda Triangle. Some examples are U.S. Navy ships that have inexplicably vanished with their crew and cargo. In 1918 and in 1941, reported that they sent no distress signals and disappeared somewhere en route between Barbados and Chesapeake Bay. As for planes, the most famous Flight 19 story is one of the best known, and history reports on the strange disappearance, saying, in December 1945, 5 Navy bombers carrying 14 men took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, airfield in order to conduct practicing bombing runs over some nearby shoals. But with his compasses apparently malfunctioning, the leader of the mission, known as Flight 19, got severely lost. All 5 planes flew aimlessly until they ran low on fuel and were forced to ditch at sea. That same day, a rescue plane and its 13-man crew also disappeared. For a massive, week-long search failed to turn up any evidence, the official Navy report declared that it was as if they had flown to Mars. They disappeared off the face of the Earth, that is. There are many proposed theories trying to explain the strange occurrences concerning the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Triangle, Some of the alternative hypotheses include aliens, ancient Atlantis, underground ancient pyramids, undersea pyramids, sea monsters, time warps, and reverse gravity fields. Other researchers suggest magnetic anomalies, water spouts, or huge eruptions of methane gas from the ocean floor. Despite the supernatural feeling of the disappearances, the location is not officially recognized by the US Navy and the US Board on Geographic Names. It's not identified or accepted on their list. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, says that the US Navy and US Coast Guard contend that there are no supernatural explanations for disasters at sea. Their experience states that the combined forces of nature and human error, fallibility, outdo even the most incredulous science fiction. NOAA also states, "The ocean has always been a mysterious place to humans, and when foul weather or poor navigation is involved, it can be a very deadly place. This is true all over the world. There's no evidence that mysterious disappearances occur with any greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than in any other large, well-traveled area of the ocean." I'll leave a link below for you for this. This is Ancient Origins by Alicia McDermott.